Welcome, jumpers. This is Bella Vaster from Jump Consulting, and I'm here today with an industry first. We are here with Bryce Delaney and Courtney Myers, and they are from Leaders Merchant Services. They are my own personal merchant service company who has just been incredible. Out of all the years in business, I've never worked with someone who is so responsive, so cost-effective, and so knowledgeable. And not just that, but there's actually an awesome personality behind it that I just had to get them on camera. So without further ado, Bryce and Courtney, who's off camera right now, but she'll be on in a little bit, thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Hey, thank you so much. I'm good. How you doing?
Awesome, awesome, Bryce.
Well, I
So
appreciate you
today,
getting me on today.
I'm sorry?
I said I appreciate you getting me on today. This is awesome.
Totally. Thanks for, thinking out of the box and actually doing it, because I'm totally positive that lots of people are going to be having lots of questions for you, and it's going to be great. So tell me all about credit card merchant services. So should we call it merchant services or credit card processing? I mean, there's always two names, and I kind of get confused.
They kind of go both ways. Merchant services can be a little bit more to it than just credit card processing. Merchant services can include cash advances, gift cards, check services, more to it, and that's more of the industry we like to play in, and that we want to be able to say yes to any request we get from a merchant. Do you have gift cards? Yes, we do. Do you have a mobile POS? Yes, we do. So we don't want to have, and we don't ever want to have to tell somebody no. So credit card processing would be strictly just, we take Visa, MasterCard, and Discover, American Express. We want to be able to do more than that, and we'll get into that more in a little bit here.
Gotcha. Perfect. So to give all of our viewers a little bit of background, I first joined Leaders about 7 or 8 months ago, maybe, and I got forwarded over to Bryce, Bryce, you can tell us exactly what your title is, but Bryce is kind of one of the guys in charge. And I started shouting from the rooftops and telling a whole bunch of pet sitters about what a great deal I was getting, and how much great customer service I had, and how much money I was saving for my old one, which was like a savings of $250 a month, which is pretty substantial. And we kind of overwhelmed you, Bryce. And slow and surely, you kind of ended up giving us Courtney, who we'll meet today. But kind of explain to me what your role is with Leaders and how you became to Leaders, and why, like, how did you learn all this stuff, and what did you know? You have the floor.
Yeah, I appreciate that. My title here is the Director of Sales. I handle our inside sales team. We have 12 sales reps, and we are phone-based sales. We got 12 guys on the phones all day, and I'm in charge of these guys day in and day out, as well as new products that come into the market. I'm kind of on the development side a little bit, to where I'll get in and be able to test the new stuff coming out, which is always kind of exciting to see what's coming. I've been with Leaders about 4 years now, and I came into this as a kind of a different than a sales role, and more that I had a specialty role working with some larger merchants. We wanted to make sure these accounts were taken care of the correct way. We call it the key accounts department, and most companies that get set up, you're just a number to the bank. I don't know, not Wells Fargo, Bank of America. You just kind of fall in line there. What we were doing is we're customizing rate plan. We were taking care of these merchants on more high-end support level. We actually reach back out to our merchants every couple months, which is something that nobody else in the industry does. We want to be, you want to be proactive and not reactive. So if somebody has an issue or something that's bothering them, we're going to call you, and we're going to hopefully catch that while you're still maybe in the process of not getting totally frustrated. We want to jump in front of that.
Or on the same token, not to cut you off here, but like me, it's not that I've had problems, but I've had questions. And knowing that I have a direct person to bother or email or blow up their phone to is always very, gives me that peace of mind. I know that I don't have to call into an 800 and wait on hold for 20 minutes, and just to be connected to some other department, and they could tell me half a sentence, and then I need to be connected to another department to tell me the rest of the sentence, and then they need to call me back. It's
That's
really nice
frustrating.
to be able to get a one-stop shop with you and Courtney.
Yep, and that's a lot of the frustrations that we were looking to avoid. Is that I know I call my cable company, and you talk to 5 different people, and you got to retell your story every time. And exactly, nobody wants to. So we've tried to take that for a little bit of relationship questions. For specific, as long as they're not on the line, they're going to pick up the phone right away and get right back with you. What this industry's done is commoditize a little bit. Rates have come down a lot, and there's heavy competition. So what we've done to kind of separate ourselves is beef up our support department. If you do have any issues, any questions, you need some further education on any products, anything like that, we're here for you. We want to support your business, and you're not. We value your business, and we want to make sure that we're earning that every day. The point of this is not to sell people by any means. I just want to.
I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but you just said rates came down. Can you expand on that a little bit more? It sounds like, I shop for mortgages when the interest rates go down. Do credit card processing systems work like that?
Kind of, sort of. There are rates on the back end that we have a cost on, but what happened is there wasn't so much competition, so a lot of it was just bigger banks, and they were making a lot of profit on these accounts. They're charging people 6, 7, 8%. Now with this competition, that nobody's really able to do that anymore. So the costs have come down for the merchants, which is great. It's gotten a lot more people the ability to accept credit cards, which is great for a small business. It cuts back your receivable time frame. You're getting your money within a couple days, and you're not just sending an invoice out in the mail and waiting for a check to come back. You're able to grow your business. You want to have as many payment options available to your customers as possible. So with this, it's not you eliminate just the cash only business or the check only. Now you can add in credit cards. You can add in depending on your equipment, Apple Pay, which is a real cool new thing you can just pay with your phone, just swiping it over a device. So the industry's changed a lot, and that's it's allowed us to kind of grow the type of accounts that we work with, which has expanded into a lot of different people because now they can afford to kind of get into the space.
Right. So let's break it down. So I want to start credit card processing. I'm kind of scared too. I don't really exactly know how it works. I feel like it costs me so much money, and right now I'm taking checks. I pick up checks off the kitchen table of my dog walking client. I collect them all, and I bring them to the bank, and I deposit them, and then I have to take a picture of the check, or I have to reconcile the check and make sure I'm applying it to the correct invoice. I do all this stuff, and I like to do it because I like to have control. I feel like I'm going to lose control if I have credit cards, and I feel like I'm going to be paying a lot of money. Can you debunk that theory for me? And can you also give me an understanding of what happens when I actually charge that card? Where does the trail happen? Give me a mind map of that so I can understand.
Well, with what you're saying about checks and cash, you lose checks, you lose cash, checks bounce, you have to pay NSF fees. I mean, you can rack up, all of a sudden you think a charge is going to be, I'm just going to take a check to the bank, and it ends up costing you, $30 and half your day to drive down to the bank and collect all your different checks from all your different clients, and that can be a little bit of a kind of arduous process where with credit card processing, there's so many different ways to do it where you can have electronic invoices sent to your customers and they just make a payment online to you. You can have recurring billing set up, which is maybe specific to this industry, something that would be good to where you can, hey, I know I'm taking John Smith's dog on a walk every Monday and it's going to cost him X amount of dollars. I'm just going to charge him every Monday on that fact. You're again not having to go hope that check's waiting for you on there, and maybe the owner forgot the check and then you're a week without your funds because you got to get it next week. It's much easier to manage this. You get your funds within a couple days. The rates again are being they're very competitive now to where it's not a big cost to doing that, and it allows you to then accept different forms of payment. Some people, they want to use their American Express card. They love their American Express card and they want to use that. They want to get rewards points. Maybe you're helping your clients build up points to go to Hawaii or go on their vacation.
Exactly.
And so it's really you're customizing towards your customers' needs at that point. Is what do they want? Maybe they don't want to write a check. I don't have a checkbook really anymore. I wouldn't want to write a check to anybody. This just makes it a lot easier for your merchant or for your customers to make you a payment.
That's fantastic, and I totally agree. I know a lot of people. I used to do checks, and now that I can sit down and just run all the credit cards on Monday morning and be done with it, and oh my gosh, like 10 minutes, it's incredible. And then bada bing, bada boom, it's in my account. So what actually happens from the time that I run the credit card to the time it enters into my account? How did that work?
Yeah, so we're basically checking the card to make sure that it's a valid card. Does your customer have the funds to give you that money? So when you swipe the card or you key the information in that day, it's going over to the back-end bank. They're doing a little quick check to make sure it's available. It's coming back to our system. At the end of the day, when you settle out your account, we're basically going, okay, bank, we're ready to get our money now. it's going to go through our risk department. We want to make sure there's no fraud on the account. We're going to make sure, and that's it's a huge benefit to our customers because we don't want to have somebody have a transaction come through that they maybe can't support. A simple example would be, say you do a sale for $100 and you accidentally hit an extra zero or maybe an extra 2 zeros on the sale, and you run somebody's card for $1,000 or $10,000. We're not going to let that go through. We're going to catch that ahead of time. We're going to say, hey, hold on, we got something's off here. We're going to call you guys and make sure that it's right on that. So there's a couple days in between delay on the getting funds. It's just us checking it to make sure everything's good. And then when we release it out to the banks, they usually do the same thing. They have about a day or so that they're just going to look at the funds into your account. You're usually looking at about 2 to 3 days to get the money, depending on the day of the week you do your sale.
Can you tell me about what do I need to know as a business owner with the liability and responsibility of taking credit cards?
There's a few different items in that, and I'm going to have Courtney kind of jump in on that. So I'm going to take an opportunity now to introduce Courtney.
Awesome.
I'm going to do a real quick rewind. We were talking initially about how we kind of came about this. Courtney came into what we called our key accounts department as our very first person in the support role, which was great for her.
Key accounts is what? Like they have keys to your door?
Sorry. Yeah, I apologize. Key account was kind of our flagship merchants. They were doing larger volume, lots of transactions.
Your VIPs, it sounds like.
Yeah, essentially, just accounts that we wanted to make sure we did everything to get these people set up with us and kept them happy for as long as possible. So Courtney's role came in as a support role to, hey, I'm going to go in after the fact and make sure they're PCI compliant, make sure they're educated on how they're processing their cards, make sure they understand how risk works, make sure all their equipment's working. So for her initially to come in on that as opposed to coming in as a sales rep was a huge benefit to her. She got to learn this industry from kind of the back forward, which has been great, and now she's seen it from the other side. So she has a great knowledge and is a great resource for your group here. So I'm going to take a second to introduce you. This is Courtney Myers.
Awesome.
Hi.
Hey, Courtney. Nice to see you. Thank you for being with us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Sure. You're definitely going to get a good earful about our industry as you're now our point person to email, call, and talk to you. So tell me more about what do I need to know as a business owner? What's this PCI compliance I hear about?
PCI compliance is just a requirement from Visa, MasterCard for merchants just to kind of verify the security, everything's running through correctly, they're processing the right way. With our company, once you get signed up, we can help you do your survey online. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and it's once per year. And we have a support department as well as a PCI help desk, to walk you through if you have any questions or anything like that. But it just basically is verifying that you guys are processing correctly and doing all the things you need to do to protect yourself as well as your cardholders.
Interesting. So is it okay if I just get someone's credit card number and type it in my phone and walk home and sleep with it?
The correct way to kind of protect yourself against any chargebacks that may incur on the account is when you're swiping, you need to make sure to get the signature. That's a key factor. And then when you're keying in your transactions, which is just entering in, like you were saying, over your phone, you would have to try and get the most information you can from the cardholder, like the address, whatnot, all the prompts that they have in there.
Okay. Now, what about us pet sitters who don't exactly swipe ever, but like a lot of our clients sign up with us online into our online management system? We can actually only see the last 4 digits of their card because it's all X.
Yes.
How does that apply to us?
With that, it's just getting all their information in the correct way at the beginning. So if you have one of your customers set up on that keyed in sort of way,
yeah,
they would have their cardholder information on there.
Okay.
So that verifying, the address verification and whatnot, it will kind of help that transaction get processed securely.
Okay. So would I still need to have them sign something, or can a click here to agree to my policies, would that suffice, or is that a question for a lawyer or something? Is that because
technically,
this is hard because it leads to more questions sometimes, and sometimes it's a little track, so don't be afraid to say, I can't officially answer that if you can't.
Yeah, with that, we can just advise you again just to get the information you can and kind of have that policy with your customers if you do have it.
Uh-huh.
They agree to the terms. You can always present that if you're getting a chargeback from them.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I do personally. I have a click here to
Yeah.
terms and say, because it's a completely online secure and it has all of our agreements, including, the
Oh,
little
okay.
part about credit cards. Bryce.
Yeah, I was just going to jump in on that. When you guys are initially putting that order in up front, you have your click to agree and your terms and conditions is to save that information and file it away. And if you ever do have a customer that issues a chargeback, and a chargeback is basically your cardholder going to their bank and issuing a dispute. So they're going to say, so-and-so, in your case, didn't walk my dog, or whatever they didn't perform the function that I paid them for, and I'm going to dispute that. That comes back to us, and then we have a fully staffed chargeback department that's going to call you and, hey, what information do you have? And then you're going to say, hey, I have this terms and conditions that I have a signature from the merchant up front with an authorization to run their card for X amount of dollars. You just want to have as much information from the cardholder authorizing that sale. And if it's in your terms and conditions, that's great. If it's an email, say they just send you, they go off the system and, hey, can you do this for me here? Save that email. You guys should have a place to any kind of authorization to do any charges. That way you have something to fall back on. When our chargeback department will contact you, I got this email from the merchant, I got this, I don't know, they sent me a letter, or this and that, whatever that might be. Just keeping good track of your records is always helpful.
Right. Here's another question I'm formulating as we're talking. Again, this is off track, and I'm so sorry, but we have this thing called like authorize.net and Transfirst, and I think there's another one. And I know you guys, I think, work with authorize.net. But what is this gateway all about? Like, gateway to heaven? Like, can you why do I need to know about a gateway? And what does this gateway talk about?
With authorize.net, it's just a gateway, again, that you can connect. I know with the pet sitters, you guys use, online sites that connect with authorize.net. So you just enter in, your code with us for authorize.net, and that's who will process the transactions with us.
So so I run this card, Leaders takes it to authorize.net kind of, and then authorize.net puts it in my QuickBooks. Like, how does that roadmap work?
Yeah, so really, kind of an easy way to look at it is a gateway is a bridge. So you have your customers, they're doing the transaction, and they're maybe doing it through a shopping cart or through a virtual terminal or however they're doing that. The gateway sends that information along to us, and then we process the transaction, and then we send it back across the bridge or back across the gateway to you for your approval authorization, your decline authorization. So the gateway is kind of the middleman to that. They handle the security on the account, so that transaction is fully encrypted and tokenized. So what that means is your credit card is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When it comes over through the gateway, it says 6, 2, 3, 4. It just jumbles up the numbers, and then when we get it, we put it back together, and it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do our thing, we send it back, and it's totally scrambled up again. That way, if somebody jumps in the middle of it, they're not getting your cardholder's information. And this industry has unfortunately, a lot of fraud in it. There's a lot of people that are trying to do stuff not the right way. So these different checks and balances, and Gateway being one of those, helps protect the cardholders at the end of the day.
So you were talking about, things not working out. What kind of things should I look for as a business owner? If I'm looking for a credit card processing system, I used to tell people to go to bankrate.com and look, and that's actually how I found you guys, because you were rated really high, if not number one. But now I just tell them to go to you. But, it's really confusing because there's like a Visa card fee for this and a MasterCard fee for that. And a Visa card if it's a debit card, or if it's a points card, or if it's a credit card, or if it's a this, or if it's that, or if the sky is falling, or if it's blue, or if it's gray. It is crazy.
Yeah.
So as a business owner, I have a business to run. I'm not well versed in this. And then I have these rate comparisons, and there's all these different rates. And I don't expect you to go through all of them right now, because I know it's crazy. But that's what Courtney's for, and that's what we can blow up her phone for. But just explain to me in layman's terms, because quite honestly, I don't even know. How silly is that? what do I really need to be looking for if I'm looking for a merchant service or credit card processor?
Well, with just real quick on the cards and the rates and stuff you were talking about, there is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of card types. I think there's about 700 to 800 different card types out there. So when somebody says I have a Visa debit card, that could be 50 different rates on the back end. We can thank Visa and MasterCard. They've made this crazy complicated to where it's hard for the the actual merchants to get through a statement and see, oh my gosh, I had 20 different types of cards come through this month, or hundreds of different types of cards.
Yeah, it could be sometimes when you look at the statement, you're like, okay, I guess it's right.
and to kind of talk about that is that's again why we've kind of beefed up our support department, and that we want to educate our merchants on, hey, how do I read my statement? For us, there's only so many ways we can relay this information back, and we want to give as much as we can back as far as, hey, here's the kind of cards you accepted and your number of transactions and your amount of sales. It can be confusing. I look at it every day, so it's kind of easy, and Courtney does the same thing where we can whip through those things real quick, but I try to put myself on the other end, and I'm like, if this is the first time I'm looking at it, I'm calling leaders because I need to get a quick explanation of that, and that's something we can appreciate, and we love to people to call us and let us walk them through. Take 5 to 10 minutes and let us educate you on exactly what your account does, what your account comes with. You get online access to your account, and a lot of people love that, like online banking. Most people go in and they check their balance and their deposits and withdrawals. We essentially offer that same type of system at no charge to our merchants, and they just have to know that it exists. We send out emails with here's how to get in and out. But that call, they're always going to educate the merchant to say, hey, do you know you have this service as well? And it's a nice little value add for our customers.
That's awesome. It's just kind of, you guys are like the credit card bucket for me. If I have any question about it, I just throw it up against the wall and see what sticks. Courtney, I don't know if this is for you, but I'm going to ask you anyways because I know you can point me in the right direction. Bryce, does this also tie into that your website that has so much stuff on it, like for learning and all that good stuff?
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing that up. We've recently redone our whole website. We've revamped it, and we've gotten a lot more information on there. We have all kinds of different equipment you could go look at if you're curious what an actual terminal. I brought one in here, just a real quick little flash. Basically, credit card processing. You go to the grocery store. This is the type of hardware that supports that. Pet sitters, you guys probably don't have a lot of these just plugged into the wall. This right here is a card reader. Basically, I don't know, it sits up on your smartphone like so. You run that through. That would be similar to somebody doing like a Square account or something like that. We do these all day long, and that's something that might be of use to you. You actually see your client's face. Just put something on your smartphone, swipe their card. That's an option for you. I know a lot of your group there is using different software to take the reservation.
Sorry about that. My phone all of a sudden calls through my computer now. I don't know how that happened. Go on.
That's okay. But one of the things we've worked with recently is a new gateway, and this is just something to throw out there, something that we get a lot of requests on, and I'm excited to have it available now, is electronic invoicing. You can invoice a customer simply through an email. They click a button, put their credit card info in, you get your money in a couple days. There's no more even emailing. You don't have to have any correspondence other than what's your email address. Pay it whenever you get it. You can do it the person can pay it at midnight when they get home.
Hey, Bryce. Now, this might be a really good segue for, I know there's a lot of pet sitters out there, maybe even watching right now, that they use Intuit a lot, and they are sending these invoices with a click here to pay through PayPal. And it sounds like this could be the same behavior in a way from the merchant side, but a quicker, more efficient, and cost-efficient way of getting your money back. Am I making the right comparison there?
Perfect comparison. That's yeah. They were one of the first people to start doing that, online invoicing, and we've kind of searched out that because nobody else was doing it in the industry. We found it's called eProcessing Network. It's a gateway. Again, the gateway, the middleman on this. They're the ones that have this set up. So we set up an account with EPN, which is similar to like an authorized.net, and it's exactly what you're saying. So it's a great tool for people to have to be able to bill out their customers. And
so like our systems though, they only work with TransFirst and authorized. So would that be an option for us pet sitters if we use a customer management system?
No, but we can talk with a lot of your software companies, and all they have, it's very easy for them to add another gateway typically. They have to do a little bit of encryption and coding. We
Yeah.
could probably have them add this e-processing network on the back end. We
Yeah.
also work with a company called Instant Accept that works within QuickBooks. So if you have customers that are working with Intuit because they have QuickBooks set up, a lot of small businesses use QuickBooks to run their business. This is now not a like a software overlay. It actually integrates straight into QuickBooks, so you can invoice through the system
Wow. So
like
what
that.
I'm
So there's a,
basically hearing is that if I was a pet sitter out there and I wasn't connected with you yet, I would probably blow up Courtney's phone and be like, yo, Courtney, this is my system. This is what I'm doing. How can you help streamline it and save me money? Because this isn't really even something that I mean, I'm listening to you, and I'm halfway understanding what you're saying because I don't really speak this language. That's why I'm talking to you. And it's very confusing and overwhelming oftentimes. But what I'm hearing is that you guys can be a solution to that. I mean, we don't need to know all of this stuff. All we need to know is what we want, or what if our system's working for us and we give it to you and you say, okay, this is the best solution we have for you.
exactly.
And this is how we can best help you. And it sounds like with Courtney being on the front end and the back end of knowledge, not just like in sales, but also in that support, that we've really got an amazing resource for us. So Bryce, thanks for handing me off to her.
Yeah, no, you're very welcome. Yeah, and totally use us as a resource. Tell us what you want to do. Tell us how you envision running your business and how you envision having the ability to accept credit cards, help your business, and let us come up with a solution for you. We have a lot of different partners we work with. We have all kinds of different options available, and most things that people want to do, we can make work for them. There might be a change in your business that's coming, and you need to talk about that 3 months ahead of time. Just call us and pick our brains. We got again, we got a lot of resources around the building. Leaders has about 50 employees, and we have an in-house tech support. We have an in-house customer service
so
and
cool.
merchant support. Yeah, and that's you calling. That I'm looking down the hallway and I can see them here, and
I
that's
like
something
that
that
because you're not getting that transfer to a different department in a different time zone that might not even be in this country, that doesn't know you, and you're just another number, you know? That makes the difference for me. And the other thing that I always preach to my coaching community is build a team and have a great team, a support team for you, so that when stuff does hit the fan, you have people that you can know, you trust, you rely on, you know? You don't want to be shopping for a lawyer when you get a lawsuit. You know, you want to already have a lawyer. It's the same thing with credit cards, you know. And tying this into what you first said at the beginning about the difference between credit card processing and merchant solutions, I know there's a lot of pet sitters out there that like to sell gift certificates, or around the holidays they like to give those out, or they have punch cards, or they have something like that. And I'm kind of thinking that your solutions that kind of seem to be endless, it might be worth a conversation, you know, a brainstorming session with Courtney perhaps. So I don't want to keep everyone too long because I do try to keep these kind of short, and I think we've kind of actually gone over what we've kind of said we were going to do. But to kind of wrap this all up, and all of your information is going to be attached to this video here. If someone just simply wants to call you guys and brainstorm or get a hold of you, A, how do they do that? And B, will they get the same killer deal I got, or is that just like a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing?
Well, just so everybody knows, Bella's worked out a fantastic deal for you guys. Give us a call. When you call in, you can either have, Bella's been doing some connections via email, or if you want to call into our main 800 number, if you use the referral code PetSitter, we have the system totally set up where the people that are, our group that picks up the phones here, they know exactly who you guys are. They're going to get you to Courtney. She's going to be able to work with you, again, customize a deal for you. But again, we've come up with some great rate plans. We get into that. We like to customize some stuff, so we will go through that with you on the call. But when you call in, just let them know you're calling for the PetSitter account, and we'll get you guys all set up. Just real quick to go back, just real little bit you had mentioned earlier about our website. Our website's leadersmerchantservices.com, and on there we have a lot of again products, but there's testimonials on there, FAQs. We kind of put our knowledge base online so we can help our merchants get up to speed on what's going on in the industry, EMV and PCI and the different acronyms that everybody's always asking about. Tons of information online, so you could just jump on there when you got a few free minutes. Our phone number's up at the top. Again, when you call in, just let them know you're calling from the Pet Sitter referral code, and they'll get you all set up.
That's awesome, Bryce and Courtney. Thank you. I love the transparency. I love the professionalism, and I love the the personality, or the, what am I trying to say here?
Hey, I appreciate that.
The relationship, you know. I mean, we've got our strength in numbers, but we've also got security in that. That's kind of how I feel, because you really put yourself out there, and it's not a question of, oh my gosh, well, I talked to this one Joe guy on April 14th, and he said, it's like, no, Bryce, yo, like, make it happen. Or I'm just calling the pet sitters. Or, and I'm not saying it like threateningly. I'm just saying like there's no cheesy sales behind this. Like, they're real, and they've been real for me, and I'm willing to put my name out there on the line and help connect you guys. And as I do with everything, I love connecting. I have a free ebook on networking if you go to jumpconsulting.net that you can download. So all this is just passing on my networking to all of you to help share the wealth, because I put my money where my mouth is, and my money's with you guys. So thank you for being great. Thank you for, apparently someone really wants to get a hold of me. Thank you for having your time. And is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Just again, thank you for your time, and we really appreciate the opportunity to work with everybody. And again, if you have any questions, anything at all, don't hesitate to give us a call, and we'll go through any questions you might have on getting something going, or potentially something down the road.
Awesome. And if any of you pet sitters have any overwhelming major questions, I'm sure that Bryce and Courtney would love to jump on again to do a more specific video, because it seems like you guys are pretty awesome to do this. Yeah?
And I'll just throw out there too, if just to make it maybe a little bit easier for anybody here, Courtney is C. Myers at leadersmerchantservices.com. Feel free to shoot her an email. That way, I know sometimes it can be hard to get on the line, and you might want to shoot an email at night. She's great on email, so it's CMYERS at leadersmerchantservices.com.
Look out, Courtney. You're getting a lot of emails, girlfriend. And I'll put that all in the tag for the video as well. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Bella. Have a great day.
Bye, Bella.